it's mastering agility, you know,
Hmm.
and this is one of the things that you're so known about is your ability to. Okay, let's not look at the punches per se. Let's look at the position, the base, your ability to move. And this is actually a video from your YouTube channel. Funnily enough, um, working with Coach Mike. Coach
Right,
Mike there.
right, right. My
Shout
guy,
out,
coach.
shout out for,
Hey, Mike.
shout out for
If
Coach
you
Mike.
no different. Here's why. If I'm fighting Coach Mike, Stuart,
Right.
I cringe when I watch myself.
Distance, right?
I do. I cringe. I hate watching myself. But this is I know what we're going over here. We're going over here how
But if I
uh,
have it, when I
at
step
range,
into
you
my
don't need to
left,
step in every
without
time
the
with your jab.
silence
You
to
see the
step
guy
forward
stepping
into
in here
my
too far, the taller guy, he gets caught. But everybody does that. Again, no linguistics. We kind of do that on automatic. One of the first things everybody gets taught in the gym is step in with your jab, son. Step in. It's like, actually, it's not always cool to step in with your jab. So I think that's what we were going over there. And then I start talking about the tire and why we use it to try to get that muscle memory where you're not thinking about, am I going actually left or am I going forward into the left? Yeah. I remember this clip very well.
So again, you know, this mastering agility then uh,
Let,
is
let,
this is here on the site, and again, you know, sometimes it's a bit of a toss up for me which one I recommend first. You know, if I go how it's supposed to be, obviously it's reactive mitts, but it's kind of like a chicken and egg, isn't it? It's kind
yeah,
of like you're like, well, actually, you can kind of start with either, and
yeah.
for me, I always say reactive mitts just because I think it's helpful to understand again where you
The language,
started, the
right.
growth, the language, and we
And
assume,
not be bored as hell, huh?
yeah, and and we assume that they know that before this one. So I do always say reactive mitts, but I do think like mastering agility is the one that people go to first most of the time when they kind of follow you and they go, oh, okay, agility. This is the thing. I mean, this was. I remember this volume as being a big passion, something you really wanted to do. I mean, obviously,
Ah, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because I think initially, right, let's call them tedious drills, boring drills. Let's call them what they are. They're not the most exciting drills. They're not the most fun. And I have a message to everybody watching this right now. This is mastering agility tutorial. I dare you guys go ask any fighter that I've ever worked with, even the most stubborn fighter, and ask them what I start them with, world champion or not. Ask them, hey, we're walking around a circle to the left. We're walking around to the right. No punches. Then after 4 rounds, we add the jab. Then after 8 rounds, we add, if they're a Muay Thai fighter, what do we add? We add defense first, checking kicks. If they're a boxer, we add catch the jab or catch the right hand with, and before we even throw punches, I think people look at like, and I'm just sorry. Thank you for letting me speak freely on this one. But this agility tutorial, I'm so passionate about. Why? I get messages throughout the years of, hey, Barry, I've been kickboxing 85 years. Which tutorial should I start with? And my response, sometimes I get annoyed and maybe I'm not really good at responding to stuff. But the reality is, if I went into the gym right now today with Jose Aldo, with Kamaru Usman, guess what they're going to be doing? The drills and agility tutorial. That's a fact. Ask anybody that I work with. I don't care who they are, what their record is. Why? Here's why. Here's why I do that. I do that to establish a base. And here's the beautiful thing. Drills have they cover so many beautiful things. So first, I need to make sure my guy's base is right before I start doing all types of punches. One of the things we see in seminars is a guy teaches a seminar. He's a big guy, very famous, or girl, and they start teaching this technique without even looking to see if the student's base are ready to do the technique. So one of the things that's so important for me is to first check the temperature, do a systems check with my student, and make sure they have a good base. What that will allow me to do later on in the session is have some fun on the pads. But we can't have any fun and do cool stuff if I haven't done a systems check and held them accountable for the drills before. It's just impossible. When you guys see my students, the guys I have worked with, you see them moving, doing fancy stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of people skip right to the stuff that looks fancy. But Lawrence Okoli will tell you, 3 months of tedious drills, being in push-up position, these type of drills that are in the agility tutorial in order to be able to switch southpaw conventional. Not that everybody should fight southpaw conventional, but if you drill enough and you do agility drills enough, and I talk about agility a lot in that tutorial, you'll have the confidence to pretty much fight however you want. But that took me, like, for example, with Lawrence Okoli, it took me 3 to 4 months to install. And that installment phase went like this, guys. It didn't go like, oh, hey, first day, boom, do this, Lawrence. It didn't work like that. And so the agility tutorial is one I'm really passionate about. I don't skip steps in development, and I don't suggest you guys skip steps. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you, and sorry to be long-winded on this, Stuart. There are days as a coach when I'm coaching a fighter, when I'm going to camp. Before I go to the gym, I say, oh, man, I don't want to do this today. Not that I don't want to train, but I know that I'm going to have to tell the fighter, I know we need to get repetitions of walking around or galloping. And I know it's not the funnest thing, especially if the fighters are just one-on-one. So I have to say to myself, like, oh, man, I got to do these drills with this guy, but he's got to get them done. And so I'm telling you to say, I know they're not fun, but I know that if we have a certain mastery of the drills that are in agility tutorial, then we could do anything in competition because we've done our systems checks. Again, you guys are free to message Okoli, harass him. Ask him his first warm-up for our first fight together. What was he doing? We were doing the drills that's in agility tutorial, my friends. We weren't doing nothing fancy. We did barely any pad work. We were doing system checks. The system checks starts with the drills that's in agility tutorial. One of the most slept on and underrated tutorials I've ever made in my life. And I'm proud of it, no matter how not sensationalized it is, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And like I said, it's that's why I think sometimes I'm tempted to say this one's the first one, just because I agree completely. It's just like any coach will tell you, they'll get someone who comes to gym, oh, I've trained 3 or 4 years before, just put me straight into the fighters class, coach. And you're like, whoa, like, you know, let's see where you're at. Let's check what you do as the norm before you touch, you know, before you go anywhere near that. And it is about, like, again, another language is skipping steps, isn't it? You know, and this is the thing, is like you've got to go through these drills and not only that, but you've got to, maybe enjoy is the wrong word, but you've got to stay focused. They've got to be, you've got to be mentally, you know, on it.
Enjoy the process, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, you've got to, every minute that you step to your left correctly is another second in that round of the fight that you're going to keep your feet, isn't it? And, you know, that's the
Stuart,
way you've got to look at it.
Stuart just dropped a major why we drill gym on you. So I talked about the base, and you just finished talking about what? The mental, and the mental during what? Competition. So we were talking about drills, right? We were talking about drills now. You just dropped, guys, Stuart just dropped a major gym on you guys. So why do we drill? Is it just for the technique, or is it the mental discipline that he's talking about? Because it takes mental discipline for us to go into the gym, and being all these accomplished guys, we've sparred 80 times, we had success. When I come in the gym, people high-five me, I'm the man. But it takes mental discipline and mental stamina to come in the gym and to walk around to your left for 3 minutes. Now, if you can't do that in the gym, how the hell are you going to do my instructions in the fight when the other guy's trying to kick you in the head and punch you in the face? How do we develop mental stamina? I hate stuff like, this guy's born with confidence and this guy's special mentally. You're telling me we can't develop being special? And so I love what you just said, Stuart, because the drills cover a multitude of sins. Yeah, we're working on our base, but we're also working on this. And this is what people lose out when they do drills. They lose out on that we're developing this also, and that mental fortitude and that mental stamina.